Magandang umaga. Welcome back to the Love Wins Live Forum. Good morning, Miss Sharon. It's so good to see you today.
Yes, good morning, Rona. On a high ka pa ba sa realization na we're on our second year together?
Absolutely. Hindi pa po ako nakaka-get over sa fact na we're now starting our second year, and yes, we just finished our first anniversary celebration, and we want to thank you for joining us, of course, for our munting giveaway and our little celebration last Saturday.
Yes, so let me say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all those who are tuning in right now. Kung nasang parte kayo ng mundo, we hope that you are all doing well, you're in perfect health, and thank you for joining us again in another episode. Ano na to? Episode 48 of Love Wins Live Forum. And we hope that this morning, parehas ng ating mga episodes in the past, we will be able to share some information that you will be able to use as you plan your wedding, or a milestone event in your life.
Yan. So it's May 22. I have to admit that this week while I was running errands, talagang feeling ko para akong na no? I have no other word for it, pero natauhan ako na malapit na po tayo sa kalagitnaan ng taon, officially.
Oh yes, diba? We're entering into this parang second semester na of the year. Just like that.
Yes. So I have to admit na talagang I was so shocked to realize that. But again, it's so great to see weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, and all these celebrations continuing to be celebrated and be done no matter what the CQ status is wherever you are in the Philippines. Of course, we are in the for us here in the Love Wins Live Forum right now. Today, we are in the NCR Plus bubble. So thankfully, we are in GCQ. But if you are outside of the NCR Plus bubble at nasa MGCQ kayo, we're so excited to see more of your celebrations. And you can always send us a message, of course, at Themes and Motives Facebook page if you want your weddings to be featured or your proposals or engagement. And of course, also at the Inspirations.ph Facebook page. Ayan, ang dami ko nang nasabi. Na-excite ako kasi ang ganda ng topic natin today, di ba, Ms. Sharon?
That's right. Oo, kasi you mentioned nga that you've seen, if you look at your feeds, we have been seeing some weddings happening again here at the NCR Plus. Because I think depende sa LGU mo, no? Depending on, there is a general guideline from the IATF, but each LGU would have its own implementing guidelines. So there are places now that they are allowing wedding celebrations to happen. Of course, with heightened restrictions lang siya. It's not like before that medyo talagang maluwag. But it's a good development. So with that, ito na nga, ang nakaka-excite to present this because Rona and I saw this article at brides.com. No? So this is a Western article to. So ang article na to, it says, will weddings ever go back to more normal? Expert predictions for events in a post-COVID world. So as you may know, no, sa Western countries, they've started the vaccine rollout way back. So I think it was beginning of the year, they've started vaccinating their population. So kaya sila nakakapagsulat na ngayon ng predictions for a post-COVID world because in terms of the target number of people to be vaccinated, I think nalagpasan na nila yung mga targets nila and yung inaay nila na herd immunity, they're almost there. So this writer came up with this article and they have 7 predictions on what's going to happen to weddings and special events, milestone events in a post-COVID world. Now, tayo Rona, dito sa Philippines, hindi pa natin masyadong natatanaw ang post-COVID world. But we have also started yung vaccination rollout. And I heard on the news no, na may mga parating na. Kung before napaka-konti yung supplies, we have more vaccines coming in. So tuloy-tuloy siya. So I think there will be things na magbabago as this happens or I don't know, meron ba o wala? That's what we're supposed to discuss this morning. So we'll
Yes,
go
yes,
through the points. Tama ba, Rona? We'll go through the points. Ipaparallel natin siya
yeah.
with what's happening here. No, i-apply natin naman sa local situation natin. Of course, to help us with that, we should have experts, no? Yung dinaanan na yung lahat ng mga pagbabago in the wedding and events industry. Of course, itong ang pandemic na to, ito lang hindi mo masasabing been there, done that.
Oo.
But of
Yan lang
course,
ang walang may experience.
but of course, syempre, based on what they've seen over the years, these are veterans and really experts, no, in their field. More or less nakikita na nila yan how it will evolve, 'di ba? So hihingan natin sila ng kanilang opinion doon sa points raised in this article and their fearless forecast for our local wedding events industry. Rana,
Yes.
please do the honors of introducing them.
Yes, of course. So without further ado, we want to welcome back to the Love Wins Live Forum. Hindi po siya guest. Isa po siyang friend natin dito sa Love Wins Live Forum because she's always here with us. Christine Ong-Te is here with us this morning. And of course, for the first time in Love Wins Live Forum, we want to welcome Miss Banks Zaldivar. Good morning, ladies!
Good morning, si Christina Ayan.
Yan.
Sabi ko nakamute siya.
Good morning!
So, una
I'm back!
yes, thank you so much for joining us. Una
Good
pong
morning,
tanong.
Banks.
Hi, good morning. It's nice to be here. First time.
Yes.
Hi, Bangs!
Tama ba
Hi,
ang Banks, the woman of color, yan ang iyong
Yeah, the woman, hashtag the woman who loves colors.
who loves colors. Ayan.
Ang
So kita
ganda.
natin sa kanyang backdrop,
Yeah.
makulay, 'di ba?
I'm so inspired by looking at her window here at the lower left corner of my screen. Talagang I can feel all the happy vibes, hindi ba?
Summer and Flores de Mayo. Diba?
Ay,
It's
oo
May.
nga. Perfect na perfect. Yes, and here at the Love Wins Live Forum, that's what we're all about. We're all about inspiring you, our viewers, and of course, our dear friends at the wedding industry, that love will always win. And I want to ask before we jump into those points, no? Syempre, because we're talking about the fact that vaccination is now real. Because when, I'm sure Christine remembers this, when we started the Love Wins Live Forum, vaccination and the talk of vaccines were all up in the air. Nanghuhula lang po tayo kung ano pong mangyayari and what's going to happen. But now, it's a reality. Our parents are getting vaccinated. Our friends are getting vaccinated. And we're already at the point where hindi na lang po yung frontliners yung nakalagpas nung, di ba? Because it's after the second dose, 14 days after that, that's when the full immunity of your vaccine takes effect. O, di ba? Meron pa akong paleso ng science this morning. So my question is, kayo po ba? Bakunada na ba kayo? Christine and Banks, do you want to share? Did you have that experience already?
I was actually sent a message already that I was going to have it on a Wednesday morning. I got it on a Monday. But that time, I had my two boys and myself vaccinated with flu and pneumonia. Kasi sabi ko, if it's gonna take time for this to come, at least we're protected. So I couldn't because by that time I would have just been 10 days into our vaccine. So I have to wait for 1 month.
Okay.
I requested for reset.
Okay, all right. How about
Me naman,
Christine?
just this week. Just this week lang. So, I'm happy na, alam mo yon, parang iba yung feeling pag na-jab ka na eh, di ba? So, dahil I believe that when the time that June starts, I hope that at the end of the month, sana hindi na mag-spike up yung cases natin. Bumalik kasi the first quarter is really getting better. But the ECQ happened again. And I hope na by the month of June, let's see what the government will announce. I hope for the better of everybody, no? The weddings will come na slowly. Maging regular na talaga siya. So by then, I wish all the, especially the people in the wedding industry, makapag-job na sila para at least para that's our way for us to be able to survive in this pandemic.
Ayan.
Nakakainggit yung mga ibang countries na normal na sila.
Maskless na, 'di ba? May mga
They don't need to
states
wear
sa
mask.
Amerika na
Yes,
pwede
yes.
nang mag-remove ng mask depending on where you are. And ako naman, ang nabasa ko naman sa Hong
Yeah.
Kong is they have categories of restaurants. Yung parang kung bakunada na lahat ng nasa staff sa restaurant and then the people coming in are vaccinated, mas loose ang restriction. So feeling ko baka yun din yung next. But hindi naman po ako expert. That's why we invited experts, and that's why we are talking this morning about what is going to happen with weddings and events. Hopefully, in our country, towards as we move to Q3 and Q4, baka we'll see more of this. So we have points we wanna talk about, and the first is that weddings will be much more smaller and intimate. Ayan.
Yan ang first point of the article. So this is how they see in the Western world. This is how they see weddings evolving. No, even in a post-COVID world, weddings will still be small and intimate. Your take on this. Unahin natin si Bangs. Alphabetical na
Yeah,
lang. Si Bangs, yeah.
definitely,
Magkasunod naman yung letter
Sharon.
namin eh.
Oo nga, magkasunod, seatmates kami.
Seatmates,
Definitely,
yes.
definitely I know I can feel it that weddings will be a lot smaller. It will continue to be more intimate. You see, people are just warming up. No, they've just awakened from the deep slumber. No, so this is a transition period. So also because travel, although hopefully by that time it will ease na, no, and it will not be restricted anymore, but just the same, people will just be beginning to plan their travels. They'll begin to prioritize where they're going, and the fear is still there, most especially the seniors, even if vaccinated na yan. However, the beauty and the practicality of intimate weddings would have rubbed on already, because we have seen some weddings, a lot actually, that took place during the past year, and they're beautiful. You can feel that it really comes from the heart. Yung mga tao, they're all well-meaning and well-behaved. Um, and so they want to get married. It's just that really it's going to be a lot smaller. Maybe we can have a ceremony now and party later kind of thing. That's my take on that.
Before we ask Christine for her thoughts, because Banks mentioned that people are, thinking about travel and all of these things, we want to say hi. We have viewers who are viewing us from Cagayan. Ayan, Florante Pascual says, watching from Cagayan.
Hello.
Hello.
And we're also
Hi.
international, by the way. Ging says, watching from Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
Hello,
Sending
gang! Anong oras na kayo sa Saudi? But thank you so much for tuning in.
Yan.
Ayan.
Kaya when Miss Sharon greets, she always says, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Because we really don't know what time it is in your part of the world when you're watching. But thank you so much for watching for watching us and for joining us.
Oo. Yeah, Christine, bago ka magsalita, I just want to say hi. They're also watching. Guys, it's so good to see you online. Nakikita namin ang comment nyo. Si Sir Richel Mascarinhas and si Sir Edwin Tuyay. Magandang umaga po. Thank you for watching.
Hi. Good
Ayan. So,
morning.
Christine, who has
Yes.
not stopped planning weddings. Every time I see your feed, grabe.
Oo.
Talagang ariba-ariba si Christine. Ang dami. And what is your take on this? Will weddings continue to be intimate even in our culture, no? Na hirap tayo nung una tanggapin ang intimate weddings.
Well, honestly, my forecast, I always tell this to whoever people that will ask me, it will continue until next year. the intimate wedding. When I say intimate, siguro swerte na kung may 200 guests kayo. Pero what's nice about this, sana the government, the prediction of the government by November is we will have a herd immunity. It will be a great advantage. Tama si Sharon earlier that last time kasi, hindi, I think that was Rona, that we were talking about vaccine will come by this year, which happened naman. So that last year it was just up in the air, 'di ba? But again, walang vaccine last year, but there was a hope na nagkaroon ng weddings even if walang vaccine. So, you know, like what like love wins, 'di ba? So, uh intimate is just a number. For me, it's always the meaning. It's always the celebration that matters the most. Weddings like intimate weddings, in fact, are more meaningful for me, more emotional. Nakakatuwa. I mean, kasi the couple themselves were able to still get to see and, talk to their friends and guests even after the wedding, which, syempre sa atin as Filipino, we cannot avoid to have a big wedding. I myself, belong to that, majority of my events before pre-pandemic was also big events. But, sa akin, big or small, weddings and events, sa akin, as long as makapag-start na tayo, everybody can, as in, all the, my colleagues in the industry were able to really start doing their events. Yun ang importante sa akin. So, I mean, here in this situation right now, I believe the hope from last year to now even better because um vaccine is already rolling out, and I'm happy somehow, the government are very active, and halos every day may schedule ng vaccine, and lalo na in Manila. So kudos to the mayors who are really doing their good job. And siguro what I like about now, clients and couples are more open-minded in terms of having their guests swab test. There's gonna be like, have undergo swab testing. So malaking bagay yon kasi somehow nakakatulong yun to rule out your anxiety, your hindi lang
Yes.
suppliers but everybody. It's a really big advantage. Kumbaga, even if the wedding is small, their intention to have a big wedding, yung budget nila, maybe they can allocate some, not, just a portion of it lang naman. Ngayon kasi hindi naman na gano'ng kamahal ang antigen test, for there are some suppliers who really give good rates naman. So by the time closer to the year, I think, magkakaroon na rin ng advantage yan. Sana lang magkaroon ng discipline. Kasi doon tayo natatalo eh. Pagka nagkakaroon ng walang discipline yung mga tao in terms of abiding the rules of social distancing, abiding the rules of wearing the mask, yun lang naman. Pero again, I guess by next year pa yan, yung intimate wedding.
Ayan. So, again, our experts have said it here. Intimate weddings looks like it's going to stay for quite a bit in the Philippines. So if you're planning your wedding or any other parties, ayan. What is intimate to you guys? Mga 50?
Oo.
Is that, parang,
50 or
Filipino
200.
weddings, yeah. 50 to
Oo.
100. 50 to
Oo,
100.
parang Filipino weddings ganon, di ba?
so 50 is
Yeah.
already parang a good, a healthy number. Tama ba? If they're thinking of their guest list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, oo.
All right. The next point is there will be heightened awareness of germs.
Yan. Si Bangs, do you think
That's
this
for
is true?
sure. Yes, that's for sure. Alam mo, we have developed that already to be conscious of what we touch, of what we what the surfaces that we touch, and when we touch our face, our hair, everything. That's why extra planning is really important, for example, during the ceremony, the sitting distance should be talagang you put the chairs there already para sure na. And then probably assign a safety in charge, to politely remind people to put on their masks, or if they're going too near to each other, just politely remind them. And this is one thing. In the comfort rooms as well, I would suggest that people, some personnel would be assigned there, because we have to control the number of people inside the comfort room. Kasi sometimes, di ba, tabi-tabi and also there. And also, we encourage outdoor events, and there's always alcohol and sanitizer stations here and there. We have to do this, eh? And of course, it's very important. We have to know who can and who cannot attend. Like, meaning, if you've been tested, and you don't know the result yet, don't attend. Wait for it. Okay, wait for it, because you don't know yet. If you're not feeling well, don't go anymore, even if you've confirmed. And
Nako, that's
if
so
you've been,
important. Yung
yeah,
how yung being honest about what your the state of your health, 'di ba? Minsan kasi tayo, alam niyo na, 'di ba? FOMO, fear of missing out, ayaw natin na maiwan
Yes.
tayo. Ah,
Yes.
and sanay tayo
cannot
na,
be.
upo lang yan, sipo lang yan. Kahit na allergic
No.
rhinitis lang po yan. Which, by the way, raised
Yeah.
my hand, ako yan. Nagkakasakit
Ayan.
ako lagi.
Alam mo, if I may just interrupt, may nag-text sa akin kasi nakikita ata na nag-ano ng tissue. Am I sick? No, thank you for your concern. Hindi po ako may sakit. It's my allergies. Ganyan na po ako since birth. And I think because of yung talagang napakainit na weather where I am right now, I think here at the NCR, ito po ang effect sa akin ng very hot weather. So, anything
Yeah,
is
so hot.
extreme. Yeah, but if it's very cold, I also turn out like this. So, thank you po for the concern. I am not sick po. It's the allergies. Pero that's true. If ganito po yung situation ninyo, and even if you're confident, it's just allergic rhinitis, just stay home. Stay home.
Yeah, and
Unless
another
one
thing,
year aside, allergic rhinitis lang po to. Parang nakakapagod din naman to explain to everyone na allergy lang po.
Oh, but Rona, it's sa classification ng nagfo-fall yan sa comorbidity.
Yes. I just
Yes.
found out yesterday also.
Yeah.
So,
you should have filed. For
Pwede
you
ka
to get
na.
vaccinated right away. Let me just also stress a point here that, of
Yes.
course, let's still not forget that there's no kissing kahit social event pa ang weddings, no? No kissing, no handshake, wag na lang muna. For me, I would say don't smell the flowers. Not even, just admire them from a distance. You hold them, but don't smell the flowers. And don't linger too long where the food station is. As a matter of fact, food station, sana wag na lang muna, kasi any moment, while you're talking, baka natanggal the mask and all. So it's not safe. Don't linger there. And I hope that caterers will also practice yung pre-packed cubiertos, the spoon
Yeah.
forks and all that, it's pre-packed already, nicely fixed and all. And also, my gosh, the salt and pepper shaker, for example, I refuse to season my food just because I don't want to touch that. And sana we can come up with ways to address this, like perhaps single serve condiments or something. So really, because there is such an heightened awareness on germs.
Ayan. So, on a personal and a professional level, itong point na to of the article, yung predictions nila in the Western world, check yan kay Miss Banks. Diba?
Yeah.
And I think, this is what the pandemic did to us. Kung dati, kung saan ka lang naglalagay ng gamit and you couldn't care less, diba? Pag ngayon, like ako, I don't know if it's automatic sa inyo, Christine Banks, no? Paglagay mo ng gamit, ang instinct mo, mag-spray muna ng alcohol dun sa surface or disinfectant, diba, before you put your thing. So, yeah. So, check. Diba? Check ang point na yan.
Well, actually,
Yes.
right now, just to add to
Yes.
Banks, what's Banks saying about if tama si Banks, if you're not feeling well, that goes also with the suppliers. Hindi lang as a guest, but also
As a guest.
to all suppliers. Na
Mm-hmm.
if you feel, kumbaga, iba na yung nararamdaman mo, regardless if it's COVID or not, you should be honest, and the client will definitely understand. Not only that, kung na-expose ka, kasi 'di ba yung iba hindi naman nila parang, "Ay, okay naman ako, eh, yung siya lang naman yung COVID." No, it's not that, eh, exposed ka na, right? So, you should be honest about it as well. And then to add what Sharon's saying about, yeah, tama siya, wherever you go, right, you always pray. Ngayon nga, 'di ba, dumami na ang iba't ibang different variety of disinfection. So there's a disinfection for the bags, disinfection for the cars. I mean, innovation is the key, eh, para kumbaga ako, I always, we have to make sure that we disinfect. We encourage, for example, in the event, we encourage the suppliers, like for example, after the setup, the decor, we encourage to disinfect the venue. We encourage to disinfect after the setup. We encourage to, practice. For example, well, now, a lot of my events are really plated arrangements. No, bihira yung buffet kasi I discourage, the buffet. But maybe in the near future, in the next coming months, if buffet will push, no, I suggest that the caterer should provide like a gloves for the guests to hold on to the utensils, or even the people who will be, syempre manage buffet siya, naka-gloves talaga, tsaka full battle gear. However, it's so sad kasi nga ang init na nga ng panahon, ang hirap na naka full battle gear like PPE, gloves,
Sobra.
and
Yes.
wearing, just going to the grocery and wearing the face mask and the face shield kills us already for the heat and suffocation, 'di ba? So I can just imagine those who are wearing, saludo ko sa mga frontliners
Sobra.
natin na naka PPE, kahit na naka air condition yan, yung heat natin ngayon kakaiba.
Yes,
So
that's so true.
yeah, so sa akin, like I mentioned earlier, we have to have like mutual awareness for everybody for us to grow sabay-sabay. Kasi hindi pwedeng isa lang sa atin yung nag-grow, eh. Kailangan lahat tayo sabay-sabay. So we really need to make sure that we practice whatever needed for us to be able to survive sabay-sabay. That's what my take. Yeah.
May I
Yeah.
just add also, and may I just add something? I think this is really important. If after the event, few days after the event, you have the chance to have yourself checked, no, tested, and by some nakita na positive ka, please have the courage to call up the host siguro just to inform kasi uh, somehow you got in contact with the other guests so that they'd be informed also, and that way we do our share in helping to stop the spread of the virus.
Yeah, and that applies to both, again, sabi nga ni Christine, the guests
Suppliers
and the
and guests.
suppliers. Yan. Okay. So, yun. So, Christine, babalik kami sa'yo. Ito na. Ito na. Point number 3. Tama ba? Point number 3. Sabi ng
Yes,
article,
point number 3.
there will be more contracts and they will look different from the pre-COVID days. Is this
Definitely.
true? O, as a coordinator, ayan. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that this contract really, mas mahirap, mas maraming changes in terms of the food venue kasi marami silang concern, eh. Okay, like last year, it was a wake up call for everybody, no? Under the pandemic ba falls under force majeure? Ang hirap sabihin yan, eh, kasi like for example, if the government says na stop na yung event, hindi pwede mag-event, then maybe that can be part of that contract. Pero ngayon, pwede ka naman mag-event, eh. Intimate nga lang. So there are suppliers that who can manage to still provide you with the service, but then may ibang supplier hindi kaya. So I think kailangan natin i-manage na maintindihan yung clause ng kontrata ng bawat supplier. So like from the suppliers end, they will right now iba na yung mga contracts na binibigay nila At the same time, ang pinaka most important questions there, will there be any charges if there's gonna be a reschedule or a postponement? How about cancellations? So, okay, dun muna tayo sa cancellations. The cancellations, syempre, the suppliers have different contracts. Hindi siya, for example, this supplier provided this agreement, dapat ikaw ganito rin ang gagawin mo. No, you should respect. To all soon-to-wed clients out there, you have to respect the clients, your supplier's contract. Number two, if the suppliers, for example, if they will change their dates to another date, you have to discuss that before you sign the contract. Kasi some suppliers, they charge. For example, if the timeline will be 2 years from now, let's say 2022, 2023, some suppliers kasi they charge. And then, for example, the next question is that, what if when we change the date, hindi na kami available for that date? So what, for example, in my situation, like what I always do, no, I always ask my couples, who are your important suppliers that you wanted to consider na dapat nandyan sa event. So we will stick to that schedule kung kailan lang sila available. Or if you want everybody intact, we need to adjust. So flexibility is the key. So sometimes the clients, they don't really mind na the dates as long as available yung mga suppliers nila. Since sayang naman din kasi yung kontrata na nabook. And then, of course, next is the idea na may mga, kunyari, you agreed, kanina I mentioned na, syempre, pinaka mahirap ma-affect, may lagi may amendment yan, will be the hotel and the catering. Kasi when they book the contract, when they sign the contract, it states there the number of people eh. So for example, their contract says like 300 of guests, and then nag-intimate package sila, ay nag-intimate event na, meaning 50 or less na. So basically, the 50 or less will affect their existing contract. So magre-revamp na naman sila ng contract, mag-aayos na naman sila ng contract. So like, it's gonna be a different approach na now. So right now, like the suppliers, they also have a pandemic clause na rin to protect themselves as well. As for the client, they're very much, they know there are questions na hindi naman given before, na ngayon, they know na what to ask before they make the reservation. And then, mas conservative na ngayon ang kontrata natin in terms of, hindi na siya, iba na siya eh, nagbago tayo. I'm sure banks will agree with me. Nagbago na yung impression natin in terms of force majeure. Because, again, the pandemic happened in our lifetime. It's been, so many years already that this happened, diba? So, how's are the clients, parang do they have the right to really say to the supplier na, hey, I want to refund? So there are suppliers that they really want to protect their contract. And then there are suppliers naman na they're very flexible in terms of rescheduling the event without additional charges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oo. Ako tingin ko before si Bangs, ako tingin ko basic. Biglang nagkakontrata lahat ngayon. Di ba? I think before the pandemic, meron pa rin ilang kasamahan in the industry or even the couples, no? Parang, simple lang naman, hair and makeup lang, and you'll just do the entourage makeup. So, okay na yon, ano na lang, deposit na lang, yung ganon. Hindi naka-itemize, no? But now, lahat may kontrata.
Actually, Shara, to add what you said, even if the suppliers provided the contract, to be honest, some clients, they don't read their contract, diba? Unlike now, they do they want to make sure that they already have their contracts, number one, and then whatever amount of money that they deposit, they file that. Kasi before wala naman eh. They're very kumbaga di naman sila, inisip pa sila this is a social event, unlike for a corporate na kailangan naka-file ganyan. So natuto rin sila maging organized, yeah. Naging careful na rin sila.
Right. Everything is just based on trust sometimes, no? Yeah, I trust, or I've been dealing with this person for the long time. She's done all my events, etc. No? So now people read even the fine lines. So that's a big change for us in the wedding industry.
So this is another check, no? For all suppliers and of course the client, no, na make sure you have a contract kasi I think in the next few months until probably in 2022, medyo unpredictable pa rin tong behavior ng ng virus, even if we're all vaccinated already. Again, I remember, Rona, when we had Dr. Anna York Bodok here, ang sinasabi niya is, it's not a cure for COVID, no? The vaccine is to protect you from getting the severe or yung fatal effect ng virus. So, nandiyan pa rin siya. May pandemic pa rin, but with the vaccine, it gives us an added layer of protection when we go
Immunity.
out. So
Yeah.
that's why even if you get your vaccine, you should still practice yung required minimum health and safety protocols. Magmamask ka pa rin, you always wash your hands, you're always mindful of your social distancing, di ba? And the time that you spend socializing kasi the longer time that you spend with someone, mas mataas yung chance of if someone is infected, na makuha mo yung virus. So yun. Yan yung ano natin dyan. But let me just share before I just want to share yung personal experience ng themes and motives. Ako, ng personal experience ko before we move on to the next point. When the pandemic happened, of course, we consulted the Department of Trade and Industry kasi anong gagawin? Na-cancel ng event. Minandate ng government that all big events are canceled, no? At nag-ECQ tayo. So as per DTI, the last time that we consulted with them, kung ano yung provisions ng contract, if it says non-refundable deposit, the contract will be honored. Okay? And if you've already spent, kumbaga for that event, whether it's a corporate or a social event, nagastos mo na yung part of the payment that was given to you, di ba? Like in the case of si Christine, no? Siguro kung it's comprehensive wedding planning, di ba? Even the paperwork, pinatrabaho sa'yo, syempre nagbayad ka na ng mga taong katrabaho nun, yung expense na yon, ano na yon, hindi dapat i-demand na i-refund mo. Okay, so that will be deducted. All the expenses, and then yung kung may provision mo na non-refundable, that should be honored. And then the rest, pag-usapan nyo kasi gano'n naman talaga, di ba? Especially sa pandemic, lahat ng bagay kailangan pag-usapan. Okay? Kasi wala naman sa atin na may gusto nito. Walang supplier ang gustong makancelan ng account. Diba? Walang ganon. And wala rin couple ang gustong ma-postpone or ma-cancel ang wedding. So, if magkaroon ng conflict, because until now, no, nagbiglang ECQ, even if nagplan ka na okay, in 2021, lahat dapat daanin sa maayos na usapan. Yun lang po ang aking tip sa mga couples and soon-to-weds.
Ayan. So next point, family style meals will become a thing of the past. Ito very cool.
Ito
Yeah.
yung mga buffet, di ba?
Oo.
Yeah, Miss Christine.
Do you agree?
Yeah, kasi well, honestly, like right now, some hotels, even before the March event, they don't offer laureate. They offer plated Chinese. Kasi majority of my accounts are Chinese, right? So hindi na tayo nag-laureate. More on plated Chinese. The plated courses might last until, matagal pa yan. Ang buffet kasi or a family style, matagal pa, maybe that can happen if the clients themselves are kumbaga all of the guests are vaccinated or naka-vaccine na sila, or kumbaga yun sa akin kasi ano it's something that we should hindi pa ready yung mga tao to have like may ka-share sila sa table. In fact, just to add nga, yung table arrangement na ginagawa nga namin right now, the other clients of mine, no, what they do is that ina-assign nila in the same household eh.
Yeah.
Kumbaga careful lang din sila to assign, even plated na yun even individual na. So what more kung family style mo pa? And the buffet naman, siguro possible if it's an outdoor event. Kasi like right now, yun na yung thing mas pag outdoor ka kasi mas okay ka. Mas feel mo kasi at least hindi ka nasa loob ng isang room, right? Yun.
Ayan. So, actually, you said you already touched on it, no? And I think that's the next point, that outdoor venues will continue to reign supreme. Miss
Yeah.
Banks, you think this is true for us? Oh, sorry, you're on mute.
Very much so, very much so. People will feel more comfortable, will feel safer outdoor. And because it's so hot naman in the Philippines. Hindi mo naman pwede sabihin na okay, you go indoors but you have to open the windows, 'di ba? Cannot be para the air will circulate. No. So you might as well do it outdoors. And yeah, by the trend, it's a lot better, it's a lot safer. And if we're going for intimate weddings, intimate receptions, outdoor would be fabulous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Christine, is
Just to
this
add,
something that you're ano? Is this something that you're recommending to your clients?
yes,
Na if
yes,
there's a choice,
yeah.
mag outdoor venue.
Yeah, if kaya. But again, we're in a country na very unpredictable. Kumbaga, yung weather kasi yung problema natin. So we really need to consider about checking the weather forecast. And we have a reliable tent supplier naman. And of course, we need to make sure that we have a good sound system because if it's an outdoor event, challenge din ang sound system, no? So dapat magaling yung sound system mo. And the more space for an outdoor event, better. So sa akin, I really suggest an outdoor event para lang mas safe lang yung mga tao. Yun lang yung yun lang that's I always suggest to my clients. But of course, indoor naman kaya pa rin naman yan as long as we practice the social distancing. We really follow whatever the government will kumbaga per venue kasi abides with their own LGUs, 'di ba? So depende sa LGU na yan, restriction. So we will follow that. And for example, if the client can afford to get like at kumbaga they book only one section of ballroom but the original number of people of that ballroom is just is kunyari 200. Siyempre, ang government restriction, let's say 50% of the capacity, so that's 100, right? I suggest kung kaya mo to get the other section, like two sections then, para kasi the bigger space kasi madaling paliitin yan eh. Right? So, kailangan din natin, the social distancing is no joke let me also tell to our clients no na when you say indoor or sorry when you say intimate wedding sorry wala na to sa topic pero baka lang makalimutan ko baka makaisipin nila makaka-save ba sila ng money? Kasi nga intimate for the styling part, there's a possibility na tumaas or maging pareho lang yung rate na babayaran nyo because you always keep in mind that when you say intimate wedding more tables yan more deck table decorations needed to put no so again similar to if you need to rent chairs if you need to rent tables more on the tables kasi the chairs naman basically depends sa number of your guests eh so madaling palakihin yon now the challenge lang if it's outdoor it's basically the weather so what all you have to do is to consider the weather forecast my tip for checking the weather forecast is always a week before or 5 days before the wedding para mas accurate tayo. Now, please consider checking the venue na outdoor kung saan yung kunyari kahit umulan siya okay pa rin yung bisita mo na even if you put the tent covering you, okay pa din yung kumbaga comfortable pa rin naman. Napansin ko lang ngayon, itong pag-intimate wedding, mas cowboy na yung mga bisita. They're not picky na, they're not choosy na. Pag sinabi mong, lalo na if concerning about germs, if concerned about social distancing, very understandable na, kumbaga, okay sa kanila. Even if like what Bang said kanina, diba, na the cubiertos kumbaga dapat naka-cover, 'di ba? The catering are doing that. Wala na yung wala na yung naka-place yung mga forks and knives and spoons. Okay na sa kanila kahit na mas okay pa nga sila naka-secure. Even the glasses that they drink, kumbaga okay na sa kanila naka-cover. So, yun lang. And then of course, you can still do program, even if it's an outdoor, all you have to do is just to parang check lang naman kung ano yung kaya in terms of the LGU as far as curfew is concerned. Yun. Ano pa ba?
And the, ay, sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead, go
Sorry,
ahead, go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead, Christine.
Sorry, Banks. You have to make sure that kunyari if it's an outdoor event, you have to consider about uso na ngayon ng dengue. 'Di ba iniisip natin kasi ngayon
Ang dami
Baka
nating iniisip.
baka COVID yung
Ang
pala.
dami, may dengue
Yun
pa.
naman
Ah,
dengue. So, you have to ako even if even pre-pandemic, kailangan natin mag-fumigate ng place para lang sure din tayo.
Kasi
Yun. Sorry,
outdoor,
Bangs. Okay, go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and yeah,
yes.
and place Iwata coolers, yun lang, maglagay lang
Yes.
sila ng Iwata or portable air condition, ganon.
So baka pwede din yun sa hygiene kit nyo, no? Apart from
Yeah.
the alcohol, apart from the, ano pa ba nilalagay normally sa hygiene kit? 'Di ba, mask. Maglagay na rin
Wipes,
po kayo ng mosquito
ah,
patch. O, 'di
Oo.
ba?
repellent. Yeah,
Citronella.
meron yan.
Put na your
Oo.
citronella oil.
Oo.
Yes, you can include that
Usually
na in
meron
your
yan.
little, thank you for coming kit. Go ahead, Miss Banks.
Oo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking that, nothing beats the comfort and the beauty of indoor events, at the comfort, especially air conditioned, tapos the ladies room, ang lapit lang, 'di ba? Everything's so comfortable. But
Yes.
for now, we really just have to adapt ourselves to the situation. And
Yeah.
let's start loving the outdoors. After all, when we're inside the hotels naman, we try to recreate the outdoor indoor. So we might
Yeah.
as well
True.
enjoy the outdoors now. That's
Oo.
that's the ano. And by the way, I just remembered something about the food being family style being a thing of the past, no? Ako, I welcome the change kasi I always really like my events to be sit down, plated and all. It's a realization of my dream, but not all clients like that for very good reason also. But this time, enjoy kasi it will have to be plated for now.
Yan. O, sabi ni Miss Olive Pascual, Citronella, call us. Yan. Hello, Miss Olive. She's watching
Yeah.
us all the way from Cagayan. And we'd like to say hello also to Sheila Abanyo, Therese Aranzan. So, ang daming wedding suppliers na nanonood sa atin, no? And yung soon to weds
Hi,
natin.
Therese.
Diba?
Yes.
Oh, ang daming nanonood. So, yeah, before we move on to the next topic, yung Rons, I just want to mention yung outdoor venues kasi naalala ko ang aking mga exhibitors na indoor venues sila, no? Especially the hotels. Ang tanong ngayon ng Suntwest at mga nagpabook sa hotels, paano na yung wedding namin? Does this mean ba hindi na kami safe? Hindi na safe yung event namin. Well, I would just want to share with you, I attended this webinar, and in the webinar, I hope I pronounce this word correctly because hindi ko siya napopronounce. Sinulat ko nga epidemiologists. Okay, I got that.
Yeah,
So there were epidemiologists, mag-asawa sila na nandun sa webinar. And yes, definitely outdoor venues kasi natural ang ventilation. Ibig sabihin nun, umiikot yung hangin, di ba? Hindi siya nasa-stuck sa isang lugar. So, if you can do outdoors, yes, do outdoors. But reality is, hindi always perfect ang weather. Diba? Especially in other countries, may 4 seasons sila eh. So pagdating ng autumn and winter,
Paano ka
it's too
mag-outdoor sa
cold.
winter?
Correct. It's too cold to stay outside. So we just have to make sure that if we're having our event in an indoor venue, as per the webinar I attended, the venue is equipped with yung mga air purifiers. They work. Kasi lahat ng air in an indoor venue, it's just there. So ang trabaho ng mga air purifiers na yan, mga nano, whatever, hindi ko alam anong tawag, is to make sure na nagsisirculate yung hangin, pumapasok sa machine, and it comes out clean. Okay, so you will have to consult with the venue and especially with their safety officer. And maybe, siguro, Rona, we can have that topic some other time, yung mga safety officers. Because these people would be knowledgeable. If you're doing your event indoor, ilan ang kailangan mo nitong mga machines na to ensure that yung pag-purify ng air mo is tuloy-tuloy and yun yung safe way of making sure purified yung indoor air. And so, hindi, while it's gonna be a big trend, I think, no, check yan na outdoor venues ang default, it doesn't mean naman na hindi ka na forever, I mean, at least for the next 6 months or 2022, hindi ka na pwedeng mag-indoor. There is a way also to ensure that you will have a safe indoor event provided na alam mo, again, yun nga sabi ni Christine, dapat in-touch tayo yung sa pag-innovate ng technology. There is a technology that will make an
And
indoor event also possible.
yeah, for an indoor event naman, I suggest pa rin talaga not to be not to have it a small size. Kumbaga, try to make it as big. Kunya, like I mentioned earlier, if you book this one section of the ballroom, and you can afford naman to get the other section, might as well get the other section kasi that gives you more room para mag-circulate yung air. And I agree with Sharon na, well, it's nice kasi with other hotels, they already have that. Kumbaga, inilagay na nila, I think some of the hotels, they already installed it in their air conditioned ventilations na meron ng purifier. So, in fact, there are some hotels na mas maganda pa yung air circulation nila compared to whatever air that we breathe outside. Ganun kagaling. Kumbaga, ganun yung
That's
technology
right.
na ngayon ng ibang hotels. So, um you know what happened in the pandemic, it will help us eventually even when things get to normal kasi the hotels themselves, right, like right now, kung hindi naman nag-pandemic, they will not invest money on such technology, as well
Yeah.
as other suppliers. They will not mind of cleaning their gadgets right after use. Usually they 'di ba?
Yes.
I mean, right now it's a different, like the mic na lang that we use for the sound system.
Yes.
Hindi
Yes.
naman natin pina-practice na wina-wipe natin yung mic every after use, 'di ba? But it's nice even the even while why we thought about this only now. Tutusin, oo nga naman, it's hygienic even if walang pandemic. Totoo naman that why you were passing the mic to the other person, na alam mo naman na lawayan na siya. Sorry for the ano, I mean for those who are eating out there, but to just to realize, ako I'm telling this kasi para lang hindi lang tayo masyado magkaroon ng hindi tayo ma-stress because of what's going on. Sa akin, moving forward lang na this everything has a reason, God has a purpose why this happened to everybody. So like in the idea na baka naman yung ibang couple natin ayaw na mag-indoor. No, I don't say that you shouldn't go indoor. We can still go for indoor, but there's a way for us to be able to arrange it in such a way na hindi rin tayo masyado yung circulation ng air natin hindi na masyado, alam mo yun, una bawasan natin yung tao, pangalawa proper social distancing, get a bigger space, do not settle on a small space. I agree with Bang. There's always a comfort when it's an indoor because of the air condition and all that, right? But if kunyari, in terms of preference, if you want to be safer, yeah, outdoor actually is the safest place to go. However, the challenge, there's always a pros and the cons. And then what you have to do is just weigh what is more what is mas o ano yung mas advantage sa'yo, the the pros or the cons for for an indoor and outdoor event. What's nice with the hotels, you have to check lang. There are hotels kasi that they also have an available space for an outdoor. So you may consider that, right? And again, you also check ano ba ang safety rules na ginagawa ng indoor mga ballrooms ng hotel. You have to check. What's nice about that, like what Sharon said, yung purifiers, the air filters sa ibang hotels ngayon, they invest on that now. So that's the advantage. Yeah.
Mm. Ayan. So check outdoor venues, but you can still do indoors. Pero yun nga, pag indoor ka, strictly follow by the book ka talaga. 'Di ba? Walang mag-a-adlib, 'di ba? Because
No
you're
cutting
indoors.
corners.
Walang
Yes.
mag-a-adlib.
Oo. Pag sinabing hanggang 50 lang talaga. Yan, 'di ba? Kasi you're confined in a space. Okay. So, okay, next point natin, Miss Rona, is
Yes, actually, this is our last point. I really saved
um,
this.
actually there is may isang article doon na ayun, I think there's a point there na medyo na-touch natin. Hospitality, sabi nga ni Banks, gusto niya ngayon what's happening. Hospitality will be bigger and better than ever. I think
Yes.
that ang description nila dito is because of the pandemic now, pag nag-wedding, and I think recently, Christine, meron kang ganito, it's no longer a one night event, especially if everyone's been tested or yung mga guests nag-shelter in place, sama-sama sa isang compound or isang bahay. Yun, malaki yung hospitality because it now becomes a weekend experience. Do you agree with that, Banks? Do you see more of that happening?
Una sa lahat, if you take the word hospitality per se, Filipinos naman talaga, tayo naman talaga lahat, talagang hospitable tayo. We go out of our way to please our guests, no? But if we are looking at hospitality in terms of, say for example, bringing your event out of town, okay? Um, out of Metro Manila, you would like to bring it to your province like that. uh, Syempre, take into consideration the fact that people have traveled all the way there to attend your wedding, and give them some time to breathe naman. So, para sa akin, it would be nice to have a welcome party, on day one upon their arrival, and then the wedding day itself, which is the day after, and then perhaps breakfast together, after the wedding before heading for wherever. Maybe a welcome tea party or a meet and greet, can be done on the first day. And then on the wedding day, they can relax and beautify themselves, ready to attend the party. But the day after, maybe they can have a costume breakfast, come up with a theme party para masaya pa rin. And then perhaps show a slideshow of all the photos that were taken. So in that way, we really show people, our guests, how appreciative we are of them coming over, and stuff like this will really make them remember the wedding in their hearts.
So you see this happening more.
Yes, yes, I see this. um I see this being observed, even before pa naman, observe na natin to, but more so now, to really show our guests that we are prepared for this.
Sa bagay, if you just have 30, no, manageable yan eh. Like, have everyone in the same resort, di ba? Or a
Yes.
have them do a staycation with you hanggang sa wedding and the day after the wedding. No? So it's an entire experience altogether. Yeah. And I think the last point, Rona, is yun, yung
Nitty gritty details will be a thing, will become an afterthought.
Oo, kasi 'di ba agreeable naman kayo wedding planners, no? Dati talagang ang dami detalye, but ako na-observe ko ngayon parang naging open ang mga tao, not just with weddings, na you cannot have it the way you really envisioned it kasi nga unpredictable ang panahon. So you choose your battles and you let go of things that you can't really control. Is that gonna happen
Yeah.
in weddings?
Yes, yes, of course. It's gonna happen. It's happening now. If before we were after coming up with signature wedding drink or having a popular entertainer, nowadays just the detail of showing that we care, that we are a family, just making sure that our relative, for example, who's a vegetarian or who's on a low fat, low salt diet is considered yung ganyan. This is enough, these are the things that matter. If, for example, you have a list of, for example, in your shot list, photos with cousins and a photo with our matchmaker, yung ganyan, these are more appreciated. In the afterthought, parang isip ko, oh nga, no, that was a different kind of wedding. You'd like to feel it. Even with entertainment, like for now we discourage dancing, diba? So Perhaps it's mag-ala concert ka dyan, no? May singer ka. But if you take in, for example, song requests like Ilocano song or Visayan song to be sung because you have an aunt who's you know, joining all the way from Visayas like that. These are the things that matter, not the things that we are used to.
At saka siguro less antsy na yung mga couple. 'Di ba? Since they will let go of the minor details na. Tama,
Yeah.
no? Wala na tayo masyadong
For
may
now
mga
kasi,
bridezilla pa
yeah.
ba?
For now kasi the bride and the groom, they're more anxious of pushing through the wedding. If the wedding will, kumbaga yan kasi yun eh. Marami sa event kasi from last year talaga nandito yung this year nila minove, 'di ba? And then they're very anxious that will the event will still be the same, or will it push through, will kumbaga mas more on yung concern nila on that matter than thinking about the nitty-gritty. Parang bonus na siya eh. Bonus na lang. However, in my sa mga events namin, we still try to put inserts of whatever. We still get pa rin whatever that things that they still like to still have in their wedding. Kasi kahit konti yan, again, ang sabi ko nga, the guess is just the numbers. What is important, kung ano yung gusto nila, ano yung mas meaningful for their wedding, ano yung pangarap nila for their wedding. You only get married once. The first wedding is still, the best. I mean, pag nag-anniversary ka, iba naman yung approach nun. And uh, hindi kagaya before na very steady yung theme, steady yung concept. Now, nagbabago kasi naiiba yung venue. Imagine mo from dating hotel, ngayon naging outdoor na, dating yung mga nitty-gritty details in fact happens 2 days before, 3 days before.
I think mas open lang ngayon yung mga couples na at the end of the day, ano bang mas importante? Us getting married and being able to spend it with the people
Yes.
closest to us,
Yes.
diba? And yung other things,
and the
nari
people,
sila, bonus na lang yun.
Yes, and the stress, I
yeah,
think,
tsaka
of making sure that your wedding is safe is a nitty-gritty detail in itself,
In
isn't
itself,
it?
that's true.
exactly. And the safety protocol is no joke for the couple to think about and to consider. And for them to hindi din madali for the couple for them to madali kasi lagi namin sinasabi that they need to have like a guest, set A, set B, set C. To be honest, it's not easy
Yes.
for them because as much as possible yung existing 300 guests nga eh, mahirap nang sabihin kung sino yung bisita nila. More so for having a 50 guests, 'di ba? And then some of the events pa now, there are some events that even the parents themselves couldn't attend, or even their
Yes.
grandparents couldn't attend. So I
Yes.
think the thinking about other details is really wala na yun sa kanila, kasi the importante sa kanila ngayon is matuloy yung kasal at kung sino yung a-attend at kung makaka-attend yung mga dapat na gusto nilang i-attend. Sharon, you look like you're crying.
That is the allergies. That is
Natouch
the...
kasi si Miss Sharon sa thought of weddings and
Oo.
alam mo yun, parang nafe-feel niya yung ano ng mga couples,
Oo.
matutuloy ba, hindi ba matutuloy yan.
Yeah.
Kaya nag-channel ni Miss Sharon.
Matutuloy. Ituloy.
Ituloy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yan. Natutuwa ako, napaka-informative at ang daming contents that we were able to squeeze in an hour, diba? And I hope that we were able to impart itong mga information for all the Suntoheads and suppliers watching us. And we hope that we are able to inspire you to, sabi nga ni Bangs, ituloy ang events and to do it in the safest way possible. Ano nga to, Rona? Sabi ng isang guest natin, the least harm to the most
To
number
the most number of people.
in your event. Ayun. So, nakakalungkot kasi isang oras na and we will say goodbye again. But before we say goodbye, final words from our guest today. Again, let's go alphabetical. Ang hirap kasi hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na diba? Parehong beautiful, parehong brave. So, alphabetical na lang.
Pinaka-safe yan.
Oo. Please, Bangs.
Alphabetical, mauuna ako. According to height, mauuna pa rin ako, Christine.
I don't think so. Baka ako ang
I
mauna.
know.
Although hindi ako expert. But kung by height, Miss Banks, nako, ako talaga ang star. Please go ahead, Miss Banks. Tell us your last thoughts for our couples and our wedding suppliers.
For wedding for our clients, you know, book now. Kung ano man yung pinaplano nyo, book now. Because, when that time comes na talagang pwede na, and you keep on delaying, nako, all the events that were delayed last year will all be pushing through at the same time that you are going to plan yours. So now, book na. Especially, I would say safely, personally, if your wedding is in October, November onwards, book now. I mean, you got to book your venues, book your wedding planners, and the wedding planner that you must get is someone who is well versed with the COVID-19 protocol.
Yes.
Someone, yes, and someone who has the eye for details, but also someone who is willing to roll his or her sleeves to really work there.
Yes.
And my other one is, please, in as much as we cannot invite too many of them live, maybe consider engaging the other members of the family and loved ones via virtual party.
Ayan.
And so how
So
can,
banks, if
ayan,
they want to book you, if you
yes.
want to book banks, how can they book you? How to get
if
in
you
touch with
want
you?
if you want to book a happy wedding planner, a happy, colorful wedding planner, please call me up. My name is Bang Zaldivar. That's my FB and my IG handle. And my number is 0917-871-8418.
Ayan.
Okay. Si Miss Christine naman. Parting words, Miss Christine, and how they can get in touch with you afterwards.
Okay, again, all right. Again, thank you, Sharon, for having me here. Of course, Rona, thank you so much for always doing this. This is somehow nakakatulong not only to our clients, to our soon-to-wed clients or couples, but also to our co-suppliers as well to give them hope. And thank you for doing this. You guys are really doing a good job. Thank you for having me, and I'm happy to see Banks also here. Well, to all the wedding suppliers first, my advice is do not lose hope. Continue to get inspiration. Continue to have to be inspired. Do not be bothered about what's going on. My tip: do not watch the news na lang para hindi na kayo ma-affect sa what's going on around you. Just move forward. Give yourself a time to breathe and to think how you can innovate yourself. Again, there's always a hope for everybody, and I'm sure that there's a brighter days to come. Malapit na, kapit lang. And I know that the time na marami nang nakakapag-vaccine, and that's the big hope that we need to aim for, no? So I encourage all the wedding suppliers out there to really have yourself vaccine get vaccinated kasi it's very very important now. That's the big hope that we should accomplish, and um embrace the new normal events that we have. Don't just sit down and wait for it. Just make sure that you have the way to think and move forward, no? Try to understand and empathize also our clients na who's also changing their minds. I'm sure kasi like right now, the stress and the agony for both sides are there, eh. So sometimes even the suppliers themselves, they try to nawawala na rin sila ng hope, 'di ba? So do not lose hope. Try to understand also our clients na if ever they want to change their contract, try to make a way na makatulong din tayo sa kanila at sa mga couples din natin out there kasi mahirap yung sitwasyon nila, eh, dahil sila yung nagre-reschedule ng kasal. It's not easy, 'di ba? So there's a lot of emotions, no, roller coaster emotions. But again, to all our wedding suppliers, there's a big hope out there. I know darating na yan. And to all our to all soon to wed couples, like what Bang said, siguro do not stop planning. Continue to plan. Continue to push your wedding plans. Do not say that, nako, baka naman hindi pa tayo pwede, hindi pa tayo pwede. Um, Always get the right planner for you. That's siguro the best advice that I can give you is, if you have to book a supplier, the first supplier that should book is the planner. The planner will be your best friend, your guidance, your advisor, to help you, to lead you more or less what to do, no, who to book first, what to do first. And then the pandemic shouldn't stop you for planning your wedding. The pandemic is just there, pero your love is, should embrace yourself, na hindi kayo ma-stress, hindi kayo mawalan ng loob, na kaya niyo pa rin mag-plan even if there's pandemic. Nagawa nga ng maraming couple namin eh, itong pandemic, 'di ba? So, and at the same time, again, do not think about like do not do not always think the word paano. All right, do not say, kasi nobody can answer, nobody that cannot help you. Just just think of a way na kaya nyo, we can do this, all ano, we can do this, basta sabay-sabay lang, yun lang. And then of course, to all our clients naman, have a open mind and an open heart. Give your suppliers the 100% or even more trust. Like what Sharon said earlier, the pandemic, this pandemic, we don't want this to happen. Nobody want this to happen. So if your clients, if the suppliers are contract stay, kumbaga, you have a misunderstanding with your supplier in terms of the contract, try to make parang compromise na lang, meet halfway. Again, the suppliers doesn't want this to happen as well. So, you just have to have an open mind. And I'm sure that at the end of the day, you guys aim naman the same route, 'di ba? So if ever naman the supplier themselves still wanted to push the wedding, more so like you guys also. So yun lang. So stay happy, stay in love, stay positive, not COVID positive. Have yourself vaccinated, to all our couples out there. And let's just support the whatever the safety protocol and the IATF guidelines that being implementing. Let's just respect that, not only support, but we also need to respect them there. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Sharon,
Yes po.
Rona, I just want to take it from what Christine said, no? Totally agree with her na sabi niya, don't watch the TV na lang, wag na, oh, it's all negative. So, if you are planning your wedding, you tune in na lang to every Saturday of the Themes and
Oh.
Motive shows. 'Di ba?
Oh,
You will learn pa, and you will, you'll get inspiration pa. So, there, no more TV. Sharon, thank you very much for inviting
yes,
me.
thank
Rona,
you.
thank you. And I wish
Yes.
everyone happy planning. Christine, nice to see you.
Yes. Christine, how can
Yes.
they get in
Nice
touch
to
with
see you,
you?
Bangs. Yes.
Christine, how can they get in touch with
Oh,
you before
okay.
we say goodbye?
Yeah. Okay, they can contact me through our IG account, at Kote Events, Facebook events, Christine Ong-Te Events. Sorry, Facebook page at Christine Ong-Te Events. And then my own IG, of course, they can still also contact me. Follow us also, my personal IG, Christine Ong-Te. And then my contact details, Christine Ong-Te at gmail.com, or my mobile number at 0917 881 388. There.
All
Ayan.
right. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much, Miss Christine and Miss Banks. And we have to say, totoo po yung wag na po muna kayo mag-news. I-mute nyo na po muna ang mga groups na laging nagpa-pass ng mga news na nakakabulaga. And the only way for you to survive your wedding planning, no, without tuning into the news, I have to say, is really by booking experts like Christine and Banks. Sila na po ang mag-worry para sa inyo on how to keep your wedding safe, beautiful, and memorable. So thank you, Christine and Banks, for
Yes, thank
joining
you,
us this
ladies.
morning.
Thank you. More power.
Thank
Thank
you.
More power to
Love.
Teams and Motives.
Oo. Yeah, so
Be
keep
safe.
planning.
Love.
Oo. keep planning your wedding. I'd like to take this opportunity to take up what this lady said, no? Words of wisdom. So please reserve the dates. June 26 to July 25, we will have a month-long celebration, the Philippine Wedding Summit 2021, because pandemic pa rin po at bawal pa rin po ang big events. It will be an online bridal fair. So June 26 to July 25 and Exhibitors Live. Meet and greet your exhibitors virtually. That's July 17 and 18. So for more details, visit our website, www.themesandmotifs.com. Thank you so much, Miss Sheila Abanyo. Thank you. I will definitely feel better soon, and I miss you too. I hope to see you when the world is a little bit better. Ayan.
So thank you again for joining us. And don't forget, stay safe, apat dapat, and visit inspirations.ph, of course, for more on weddings and celebrations and themes and motifs. So see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.